Welcome back everyone to the Sableyes YouTube channel. Today I am joined one last time by Blake Whiteman, and we're going to be looking at one more matchup going into the Germany International Championship next weekend. I am playing the fairly standard Zoroark Lycanroc Lily deck, and what are you playing today, Blake?
I'm playing a deck never thought I'd say it did well recently in the tournament. I'm playing the Celebi Venusaur tag team, which got third at Denver, which is shocking to me.
Yeah, we actually saw a lot of weird decks doing well in Denver, and I actually remember Venusaur Celebi is one of the decks we were kind of testing when Team Up first came out, and we very quickly dismissed it as being a good deck. But now that we see it doing well, I think it's a deck that quite a lot of people might pick up for Germany.
I mean, in my mind, Celebi Venusaur was a very strong deck that had very poor matchups just based on the decks that were popular going into Team Up. Pretty much all of the deck, like Ikarom, before Team Up, Blacephalon was also played, and Ultra Malamar was also very scary. So having like three really bad matchups like that, almost auto losses on your list of highly likely matchups to see all day, especially when at Oceanic International Championships, probably quarter of the field, I think, was playing Ultra Malamar. So if you're a Venusaur player, you probably had a bad time.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot, but there's a lot of Zapdos now as well, and Zapdos obviously a very good matchup with Venusaur. But today we're going to see how it does against probably one of the best decks going into Germany, Zoroark Lycanroc. So we'll get this match started in just a second. If you enjoy this kind of content, please let us know in the comments, and feel free to like and all of that good stuff as well. I think in this matchup, I honestly don't know who's favored, because there's a lot of tricks going on in each deck that can kind of annoy the other one.
Yeah, I mean, in the original variant that I tested that played Hammers, I thought this was like Venusaur's strongest matchup, just about. That was actually in the meta.
Yep.
But now that this variant that's done well that actually isn't playing Hammers, I'm not sure how this matchup goes now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if a Zoroark deck is able to attack every single turn, it can use Muck to shut off Shamans and stop a lot of your healing cards, and then all of a sudden, Venusaur doesn't look as bulky as it usually is. Alright, I've got a bit of a awkward starting hand here. We'll see if that matters a whole bunch. Obviously, a good thing about Venusaur is it doesn't put a whole bunch of pressure on early, so I might have a turn or two to flounder here and still be able to catch up, but Lily for 4 isn't the worst thing in the world. It is when you don't draw any basic Pokemon, though. So, on to you. We'll see what you're able to set up here.
I mean, I was really hoping you'd have a better first turn, because I don't have a lot going on here, and my only draw supporter is Eric. So,
oh my goodness.
I've just got to have a pass, but I mean...
Well, I was actually going to pass back if I didn't just top deck a Judge, so I'm going to go ahead and play a Judge, and we'll see what happens from there.
Okay.
This could go very badly for me, but...
we might have to play another game.
We might have to play another game, but that's okay. I do have a basic Pokemon, so I will at least be surviving the turn. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. We'll see if you drew a double Colorless Energy. That would be a pretty big deal to draw right now. Oh, yep, there it is. Seems good.
Yeah, this is a lot better than my previous hand.
I believe that.
It's pretty safe to just slam all of this and then just do that. That seems fine.
Yeah, I think that's a fine hand off that Judge.
It's pretty good.
So in this matchup, like, do you think it is very important for the Zoroark player to kind of get ahead early and start applying pressure turn 2, or do you think that it can kind of have a slower start like me and catch up in the late game?
I think it's very hard for Zoroark to catch up against Venusaur, because it's hard to apply pressure when there's so much healing going on and the deck mostly half hits, and unless the Venusaur player seriously screws up and benches 5 things, Dangerous Roguing isn't really a good option against this deck. So,
yeah, at best it's going to be a 2-hit.
Unless you're Guzma or Lycanroc killing a Shaman every turn to try and reduce their healing before you go into your own half hits, then I don't know how effective trying to apply a lot of pressure early is.
I think obviously my main aim is going to be getting a choice band and getting muck out, so I'm at least applying a 2-hit pressure onto your Venusaur, doing 150 every turn, and then I just gotta hope that you miss healing cards.
Yeah, I think definitely getting mucked down as early as possible is the main concern for you as the Zoro player.
Yeah, it seems pretty essential.
Coming back from a deficit like this is pretty difficult because not only am I applying like pressure with damage, but also with special conditions. So even if you're happy to accept the 2-hit, you also have to find a way to switch or go into another attacker because otherwise you're flipping a coin to actually try to half hit.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously attacking into a Venusaur with 3 Shaman down almost doesn't even seem worth doing, and I'm not going to have the option anyway this game due to the fact I have missed an energy, but even if I did attack it almost doesn't seem worth it. I've at least got a bit of a solid board now. I think if I had one more turn of bad draws, then I would have been way too far behind, but now I think I've at least got a bit of a chance to catch up, not being in too bad a position. I really just need to start applying pressure as soon as possible, though, before you get too far ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
I think an interesting thing to think about in this matchup is that we talk about how Venusaur can out-heal Zoroark easily, but Zoroark's actually pretty good at out-healing Venusaur as well, when you think about it. I mean...
Oh, that's true. Like, recycling Acerola is, like, very good, but when you're trying to desperately find an Alola muck and you've had a bad start like you have, then it's a bit harder to expect that each turn as well.
For sure, it's definitely not easy to do, but in a perfect world where I do actually set up early and get muck out, I actually think that with Acerola, Palpad, and potentially a Rangaroo thrown in there as well, I actually think that Zoroark could be better at out-healing Venusaur than Venusaur is at healing Zoroark.
Yeah, I think like typically that would be the case, like when you get the Alola muck down, but I know like in this list that came third is playing the juicy mixed herb card, where if you play 2 of it, you heal 90 damage. And because you draw a lot of cards and the deck plays Bill's Analysis, you can rack up those cards very easily. And also, it's playing a higher than normal count of potions by playing more than 0. And there's also obviously the Gardenia, with the ever-present Gardenia in Venusaur as well to help it heal.
So yeah, even with all of those healing cards, there's still ways for you to... even with Block and Shaman, there's still a lot of healing cards for you to get around that issue.
Yeah, and there's also, like, least of all, the GX attack, which heals, which is a complete heal without any downside.
Yep, that's also a problem.
Which can also shuffle in all the other healing cards. So I think, if nothing else, your game plan should be to make sure that I never declare that GX attack for the bonus effect.
And it's pretty hard to stop you from doing as well, because I know some lists do play Enhanced Hammer in Zoroark. I'm not currently playing Enhanced Hammer in this build, but I do know that Enhanced Hammer is a pretty important card in a matchup like this, which can potentially stop Venusaur, but it's really only delaying a turn at most.
Yeah.
So at the moment I'm kind of in an awkward position where I don't really want to attack with this Zoroark, but then what do I retreat into if I choose to retreat? It's kind of awkward. I think I might just have to just attack here, I think, and hope for the best. Got a Tails. That's a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world.
Well, on the positive side, you're no longer burned, so racking up damages. The damage isn't racking up as easily, so I need to attach a Grass Energy this turn if I actually want to take a knockout.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying because the grass in my hand was actually the last one I had readily accessible in my hands. So I actually don't have like a super easy way to kill the Zoro.
Well, yeah, it's kind of weird for a Venusaur deck. Once you've stockpiled a whole bunch of cards that you want to hold onto, such as those Gardenias and those mixed herbs, you don't really have any easy way to kind of find the cards you need in your deck besides hoping to find it off of a bill.
Yeah.
But one thing you can't find with Bill is Grass Energy.
Yeah, and in the past, and this came from the Japanese builds, they played like 3 to 4 Looker Whistle and Looker, and that's the power of that card, is that you could amass giant hands and still draw lots of cards and thin your deck like really quickly. Which is always the part that really impressed me about those lists, was how effectively they got through the deck to get like specific cards they need.
Yeah,
right
now
now I'm just debating Guzmering out your Lol and Muck.
okay, I can see that. That's not a bad idea.
It would be a lot better if I could just Solar Beam it for a knockout, but right now I would just be half hitting it, which means that Rainbow Energy, not even Rainbow Energy, it's gone, and I am damaging it, so you don't need to damage it yourself. So Acerola is active on it, but you need to find it specifically this turn, and then it also means you can't Acerola your Zoroark and your Lol Muck in the same turn, obviously. So I kind of like that, because you're going to want to Acerola anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like putting 2 different things that you desperately want to Acerola.
Certainly seems like a fine way to go.
And of course, if I'm lucky with flips and you don't kill Burn straight away, then this can die going. Wait, no, I've miscalculated.
Well, it doesn't really matter that much. I've actually got a pretty good hand to deal with that play. I'm holding Acerola as well as Mallow. I'm trying to remember if I'm playing... if Switch is in deck. I don't know if it is, so I think rather than going for a blind Mallow, I'm probably better off just Acerola the Muck. The only downside to that is I give you back Shaman for a turn, and I really don't want you to be able to use that. But
yeah,
seems like it's fine.
It's going to be the first turn you're going to get to risk-free declare an attack.
Exactly, but I mean, at least getting 150 damage on, even if you heal most of it off, at least I'm applying pressure, forcing you to start playing down some heal cards. I think it's probably going to be fine overall. And now that I've gone for that line of play, I may as well trade the Mallow away as well. I don't think I'll be needing that anytime soon.
Yep.
Oh, what do you know? I drew the switch. That would have been nice.
Trade first.
Yep. Obviously, I was still deciding.
I'm sure there was other resources there. So you just gotta go through the process of clicking all these green cards at the bottom until all the bad parts go away.
Yep, this is certainly showing the power of Venusaur, and I've already lost.
Spicy card.
Oh no. Yep, I attacked. Didn't matter, but I attacked. That was fun.
And we can finally Erika's, and it does a lot.
Yeah, getting a Grass Energy down here on, well, any of your Pokemon really is a pretty big deal.
Thin a bit more with Acrobats.
I think a big deal in this game is the fact that I had to bin my Pal Pad early, and so I'm going to run out of healing cards really soon, at about the same time when you're going to probably get them all back.
Yep.
In this matchup, Blake, what would you say are the most important resources for Venusaur to hold on to? Do you think it's those mixed herbs, or do you think it's cards like Choice Helmet that really make Zoroark's maths hard to deal with?
I would say it's like just specifically the healing cards, energy, and probably just like the cards that you have the fewest counts of that can come up clutch moments. So, Guzma's. Skateboard, stuff like that. Those sorts of cards can come up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Interesting to see you go for the first attack instead of the Solar Beam there, but I guess it makes sense because it's a 2-hit anyway, so you may as well use the attack that potentially forces me to miss a turn.
Yeah, it doesn't change whether or not I 2-hit you, and it just means that you're forced to use Acerola or burn a DCE to retreat if you want to declare an attack, so it forces a resource you wouldn't usually need to.
Yeah, 100%, and that is especially irrelevant considering I'm planning on using Acerola anyway, but if I don't, then there's no reason not to declare that first attack, so that's an important thing to keep in mind in this matchup, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
At least I'm finally, for the first time this game, going to be able to declare an attack with a Alola Muckdown. I'm excited, personally. So put that there, and this one here. And I think this is a good time to declare rider speeding. Probably put the choice band on as well, but...
And probably a DCE.
Yep, that's also important. Oh, we've even got a trade left. Didn't even notice.
Probably lucky. Another basic to sort of pump up those numbers, but no, you just got rid of one.
I've got a whole bunch of basics in hand at the moment. I'm not sure if I want to use up that bench space straight away. I think I might be better off actually, I can put the Devoured Field down for the extra 10 damage as well, which isn't too big a deal. Obviously, you do have your own stadium in that deck, which is pretty annoying for Zoroark to deal with as well.
Yep, I just top decked it.
Nice.
That one is pretty annoying. There's also a one that's even more annoying, which is Life Forest Prism, which I hadn't actually talked about up till this point.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Obviously, I've got a Rangaroo to be able to get my stadiums back, so I'm not too concerned about it. But this I'm much more concerned about.
So now I have at least another free turn of Shamans again. And to be honest, even if you Guzma up this Celebi Venusaur and knock it out, I'm still not that upset, because you need to kill 2, or you need to take a very long time to kill each other Shaman to take the last 3 prizes.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty hard for me.
I think I'm pretty happy either way with how you have to go about winning the game from here on in.
In fact, I almost feel like we're in the position now where I'm going to lose to deck out before I actually take my prize cards. And that's a bit of a worry.
That's also a possibility.
I mean, obviously, I've been trading a bunch. I didn't need to trade this much.
I wasn't thinking about that play. That's rather annoying.
Yeah, at this point, I'm thinking I need to take prizes real quick, so I may as well judge your hand down, try and get some resources out of your hand, and catch you in a turn that you're not able to deal with. Just take a half hit here.
There's one attachment from declaring the GX attack that turn, which is frustrating.
But the downside is that the Muck is gone. You get access to your Shamans again, and I have actually prized my Alolan Grimer this game, so I'm not going to have any way of getting Muck back until I take some more prize cards. In fact, another card that I've prized, which we've been talking about quite a lot in this game, is actually the Oranguru, so decking out is a very big possibility for me.
Yeah, so it's sort of in my best interest to make sure that you can't take this knockout. But I've been judged into not a DCE and not a Guzma, so I don't actually have like a fantastic way to stop you from knocking this out if you have the resources to do so. I think this is just my best option here.
There's also a chance that you draw into some spicy cards.
That's a lot of good cards there.
Potion.
Got that. Potion's good. I forgot I played that for a second, and I also got this.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, I think Zoroark really just gets 100% out healed by this deck while Muck isn't in play. So definitely a good thing to keep in mind in this matchup is Venusaur is always going to try and take that Muck whenever it can.
Yeah. As long as Venusaur can just Guzma kill Muck, which it can like easily do without pressure, as long as it gets one turn where Muck isn't down to Shaman, or when it targets down the Muck, it still has the cards to heal from the retaliating attack. I think it's got like all the tools it needs to win this matchup.
And yeah, I'm now in the position where I think I'm probably just out of resources I need to deal damage. You're going to be able to out-heal this Zoroark almost entirely just with the cards you have on board.
Yeah, I think entirely.
Yeah, actually, it is exactly entirely. Thanks to the fact I'm not using Choice Band at this time. And hey, you've also got a Venusaur on the bench.
Yep, that card's also like ready to go. The funny thing is, we're at the point in the game now where, because you've got so few cards left, and I know you don't have Oranguru, that when I play this card, it becomes very scary for you.
Yeah, obviously, having the Oranguru in the prizes, especially in this matchup, is a big deal. So that kind of just shows you how important the Zoroark players' cards are in this matchup. You really can't afford to miss what you need. If you don't have access to Muck, if you don't have access to Oranguru, Venusaur just runs away with the game so quickly.
Yeah, this is crazy too, because, I mean, like, even in a world where you have the other Alolan Grimer, and you also have Oranguru, Like I still haven't used the GX attack. I still have 2 mixed herbs left. I still have 2 potions. There's so much healing left, and there's still like a few of the other cards that are interesting that like can still apply like a lot of work.
I definitely think no matter what I did in this game, you're always in a pretty good spot to take the game out, and at least I got 4 Zoroarks out. At least I can say that. But even if I didn't prize those cards, I think the fact that I had such a slow start and you were able to start applying pressure on turn 2, we mentioned it wasn't a huge deal at the beginning, but I actually think that Venusaur getting off those that early pressure before Zoroark can is such a huge deal. You really can't let Venusaur do that, I think. And yep, on the turn that I deck out, you get your entire deck back. Makes sense.
So I have all my cards and you don't have any. It's very rare that you might see a result like that.
Yeah, I can definitely see what makes that Venusaur deck so strong. I really didn't stand much of a chance. Although the Team Up Lycanroc is a card that I think, if you use it at the right time, can certainly swing the game on a pivotal turn.
Venusaur's very heavy, and it's not playing very many switch cards. This list wasn't playing any switch cards apart from
Guzma, I guess, yeah. But the thing to mention about Lycanroc is it is weak to grass, so you really have to be careful about when you time it. Because if you do use that Team Up Lycanroc, that Guzma that gets you out the active also allows you to take 2 prizes now.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, Venusaur certainly seems like a decent play going into Germany, I would say.
I think Venusaur's just definitely rotated, because before the deck only played like 1 to 2 Guzma, now it's playing 4 because the only thing it's scared of is a Lola Buck. Outside of the, I think this list has just been tailored to accept the auto losses that it's got and not bother to struggle. But they correctly assumes, the people who piloted this deck, that the decks that were auto losses to this one were declining in popularity, and they didn't see very many of them, and they were very well suited to take on the decks that this list thrives against.
Hey, yeah, that makes sense for a deck like Venusaur. You just gotta go in, hope you get some good matchups, and if you do, you should be in a pretty solid position. But yeah, that's it for this game. Thank you very much for joining me today, Blake.
Yeah, no worries.
And if you like this kind of content, then we'll catch you next time for some different kind of content. This will be the end of our matchup highlights for Germany, because I'm actually heading off to Germany in a couple of days.
Yeah, so this has been a bit informative for you as well, Jordan, as well as the viewers.
Very much so. So hopefully we'll see some of these decks doing well in Germany next weekend. For now, that'll be the end of this video. Catch you guys later.